Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Mimi here, and in today's video, I'll show you step by step how to create this one glitter ombre winter wonderland scene tumbler using printable vinyl. My inspiration for this design comes from Brittany Barnes Boutique, and I'll link her channel down below. I'll also be reviewing a product from HTVRont that I really enjoy using and will hopefully work for you as well. As always, everything I use in this video will be listed and linked down below, along with any coupon codes that'll save you some money. So with all that being said, let's get started. I'm starting with a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler from Maker Flow Crafts. I've already prepped it with my final sand, and as you can see, I've already base painted it. I picked 3 colors that I thought went well together. I'll show you those colors here in just a second. And I sprayed it into basically a triple ombre. I'll be using Opalina from BJ's Glitter. This is one of my absolute favorite colors that they carry, and I'll be using the epoxy method to adhere my glitter. I'm using liquidy split, and I'll spread about 1 ml of my mixed epoxy evenly all over my cup. Now that my tumbler is coated with epoxy, I'm going to go ahead and use that Opalina glitter from BJ's and spread it all over my cup. Just make sure that you get full coverage, especially with the bottom as well. This will create a flawless ombre between the 3 colors because we took the time to use the spray paints to get a really good blend. After I get full coverage, I'll set this aside to fully dry. I'll then coat this a couple times with my clear gloss spray and add a layer of epoxy. After that cures, we'll move on to the next step. We're ready to move on to adding our winter scene and vinyl decal, so I already did a super light sanding and washed the cup with some dish soap and water. Here's the winter scene that I created off screen. All the graphics are from Creative Fabrica, where you can pay a monthly fee and get access to tons and tons of commercially licensed images. I'll leave a link below that'll give you complete access for only $1 for your first month, and then renews at $19 a month moving forward, which is a 20% discount. I absolutely love my subscription and highly recommend it. So anywho, I'm not very familiar using printable vinyl or using my Cameo 4 to use the print and cut feature. So in a minute, you'll see my epic fail. Not only could I not get this cut with my Cameo 4, I actually had to hand cut the design out. As I'm getting ready to adhere it to my tumbler, I peeled the corner and realized that the sticky part was on the wrong side of my print. So I really wanted to salvage this. As you can see, I'm showing you the sticky side. And then I checked the other image that I had. It was printed on a different vinyl. So I was trying to rack my brain to see what I could do to try to salvage this because I spent so much time with it. So I went ahead and grabbed my CCDIY Quick Coat to use that as a glue to adhere this. So spoiler alert, it did work. So I'm so happy that I was able to salvage this. Otherwise, I would have been probably crying on the floor after a lot of headaches and trying to get this situated. You do want to make sure that you have even coverage underneath where you're laying your design. And then I'm using my brush to get out any of the bubbles that may be trapped underneath. This is really important so that this design lays totally flat on your cup so that when you go to epoxy later on, you won't have any issues. You also do want to pay special attention to the edges. They do have a tendency to kind of lift up and curl up. So I'm really trying to use my brush to kind of smooth those areas down. And then I decided to go ahead and put on a glove after I was done with the majority of this and kind of pat it down to make sure that they're completely adhered to the tumbler. Off screen, I also did use my heat gun to slowly try to dry the quick coat so that I can make sure that the edges are completely adhered. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys watch the process of me sticking down this messed up print so that I can go ahead and move on to the next step. So here's what my cup looks like after adding an additional top coat to make sure that it was completely sealed onto my cup. And now that the crisis has been averted, we are going to move on to adding the decal. Off screen, I already cut out my Winter Wonderland decal. This is also a design from Creative Fabrica. And I was contacted by HTVRont to try out one of their products, which is their transfer tape. They sent me this gigantic roll of 12-inch transfer tape. It's gridded, and as you can see, there is a ton of product here, and it is 80 feet, so you will have a lot of transfer tape that will last you a really long time. I actually realized that I actually use this in a smaller version. This is actually the 6-inch version of the same transfer tape, and you probably would have seen this in some of my other previous tutorials whenever I'm applying vinyl decals to my cup. This transfer tape is really easy to work with. I just go ahead and cut the size that I need, and it peels off the backing paper really easily. It is medium tack, so it's not too sticky, but it will get the job done. I prefer to layer my decals before applying them to my cup, so I'll use my transfer tape to pick up the thinner white decal and layer it on top of the offset I created. When I was doing this, I found it a little bit easier to go ahead and cut my two words in the middle so that I can layer them right on top because my offset is really thin. All in all, like I said, I've been using this for quite a while, so this is actually my favorite transfer tape. And I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it already. HTVRont can be found on Amazon, and many of their products are ranked in the top 5. As a special bonus, they have allowed me to offer 20% off single-use coupon codes for my subscribers to save you even more off their low prices. If you're interested, make sure to comment down below and I'll get you one of those coupon codes. All of HTVRont's info will be listed and linked down in the description box, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. One of my favorite things about this transfer tape is that it leaves no sticky residue whenever I pull it off my cup. I'm now finishing up my winter scene by adhering this last cluster of the house and trees in this empty space. Just to be safe, I'm going to apply another thin coat of quick coat over the entire cup. I'll let that dry completely, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the snow scene. I wanted my background to blend in a little better, so I decided to add the look of actual snow to my winter scene. To do this, I'll be using this glittering snow text by Decal, which will add slight texture and dimension to pull the entire design together. This is completely optional, so you can skip this step if you'd like. You'll see me use different brushes in varying sizes to get this glittering snow text onto my cup. The easiest way to add this is by pouncing it onto the area you want it to go and working in small sections. It will take a little bit of patience, and you'll want to make sure the layers are as thin as possible so that you won't have to add a ton of extra layers of epoxy to get the cup smooth. I'll go ahead and continue to add this until I'm satisfied with the coverage and where I want to place it. And once I was finished, I set my cup aside to completely dry overnight. Here we are the next day, and my snow text is completely dry, so I'm ready to add a coat of epoxy. I've mixed up about 25 to 30 ml of liquidy split, and to add even more sparkle, I'll be mixing in a tiny amount of this resin additive from Unicone Art. Once I finish coating my tumbler, I'll pop it on my turner to fully cure. While it's turning, I will also hand place some of these Snowflake sequins towards the top of my cup. After that dries, I went ahead and cleaned up the top edge of my cup with a sharp X-Acto knife and sanded down any rough areas using my sticky back 220 grit sandpaper. This cup took 2 final coats of epoxy before it was finished. Here's a closer look at the finished cup, and I love how it came out, even with my serious boo-boo that I had with the printable vinyl. At least I will know for next time to make sure it's printed on the correct side before I try to use it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and got some inspiration. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, And until next time, bye!